NSE-listed companies' ownership trends for December quarter reveals a shifting landscape in equity ownership, with promoters and FPIs pulling back while domestic mutual funds and individual investors continuing to expand their presence. Sharad joins in with the highlights.
Well, the Q3 ownership trends have come out, and this is from the NSE's report. The domestic promoters, they are holding the major chunk of it. That's roughly 33%. Also, there are foreign promoters coming to the list with an 8% contribution, government at 10%, and domestic mutual funds at the same numbers. FPI's the number is at 17.4%, and retail is just a shade below the 10% mark. Now, what are the key trends which have been observed in the ownership trends? That's something which you would like to watch out for. Now, this entire domestic government and the foreign promoter segment, they have fallen for the second straight quarter, and there's a sharp fall seen when it comes to the government's share. Now, overall, the decline in the FPI numbers, that is also something we'll look at. That itself has also fallen, but do remember the listed NSE companies, that is coming in at 13-year low. The overall FI ownership, that's almost 17.4%, and the Nifty 50, that is at 12-year low. That means that multi-year lows is the FPI ownership coming in the Indian equity market. Also in the domestic mutual funds, if you look at it, over here the share is at record high levels, coming in at 10%, showing a very strong and a buoyant domestic mutual fund market. Individuals, which includes both mutual fund as well as direct as a retail, that's also at a record high level of almost 18.2%. Now, if you look at it, the interesting trend is now the retail consolidated holdings has actually surpassed the overall FPI holdings since 2026. Now, also the wealth creation, if you look at it, that is very strong. Net accretion of almost 30 lakh crore has been there overall over the last 2 years, and look at the CAGR of the 10-year CAGR, that's coming in at almost 21%. But now let's look at what are the positionings for the FPI, which are the sectors which should be in focus. This has been strengthened, and they have outsized and overweight weight coming when it comes to the financials, cautious on consumption commodity, and negative when it comes to the industrials. Now let's look at how the positioning is there for the domestic mutual funds. Over here, they have trimmed their overweight stance on the financial, a negative bias towards energy materials, but incrementally positive when it comes to the consumer discretionary segment. But last point I would like to maintain is that this mid segment might be still in the favor, because the share of the Nifty 50 has declined further to 58.7% when it comes to the ownership, but there has been relatively smaller losses generated when it comes to the small and mid cap stocks, and also there has been a lower kind of flows also coming in if you compare that with the larger names. But overall, the Q3 ownership trends still are in the favor of the SMIDs.